Notes Weekly. Employees and self-employed people may be able to get parental leave payments if they are not working in order to care for a new child. In New Zealand, the parental leave payments are administered by Inland Revenue. The parental leave payments are weekly payments for a continuous period up to 26 weeks. On this video, I'll share my experience having a baby here in New Zealand, from healthcare during pregnancy up to financial planning, simply because babies are expensive. I will add a timestamp here, so feel free to jump to a particular topic. Otherwise, if you're here for the whole video, then please make yourself comfortable, grab a pen, take some notes. Details up next. So you found out you're pregnant! Congratulations! In my experience, we found out we were expecting 2 months after getting married. We had to check it twice just to be extra sure, and after a quick GP visit, it all became official. Tests and appointments. I saw my GP early on in my pregnancy, and she told me that I need to look for a midwife. Choosing who you want to support you is one of the first things to do when you find out you're pregnant. For many people, their lead maternity carer is a registered midwife, and one of the easiest way to find and choose a midwife is through the Find Your Midwife website. Anyway, the antenatal appointments with your midwife will provide opportunity to bring up any concerns, ask questions, and pick up any potential threat and treat them early. In a normal pregnancy, you'll have your antenatal visit with your midwife or your doctor every 4 to 6 weeks until you're around 28 weeks pregnant. And then after that, it becomes every 2 weeks until you're about 36 weeks pregnant, and then weekly from 36 onwards. You are welcome to take your partner or support person with you during those antenatal visits. It's your choice whether you have screening tests, including blood tests, urine tests, and ultrasounds. Screening tests can tell you whether you or your baby are more likely to have a medical condition that can make you or your baby very sick, and others that can affect how your baby grows and learns. If screening shows that you or your baby may have a condition, you'll be offered further tests that will let you know for certain. After a home pregnancy test, your doctor or midwife will also order more blood tests. This includes determining your blood type and Rh factor, your hemoglobin, if there are any antibodies that might be harmful to your baby, if you're immune to rubella, if you're a hepatitis B carrier, if you have HIV or syphilis, if you have diabetes, or if you're at risk of developing diabetes. Throughout your pregnancy, you'll have other tests to make sure that you are healthy and that your baby is growing as expected. So you'll have routine checks of your blood pressure, your weight, the size of your baby bump, and your baby's heartbeat. Ultrasound scans are offered during pregnancy for a variety of reasons. So, for example, determining your due date, identifying if you have more than one baby, and if your baby is developing normally. Later in pregnancy, ultrascans are ordered for other reasons, for example, monitoring your baby's growth and determining the position of the placenta. Most women have at least one ultrasound during pregnancy. The most common scans are a dating scan. This happens in the first 14 weeks of pregnancy to check when your baby is due and whether there's one baby or more. Next is the nuchal translucency scan. This is part of the combined screening for Down syndrome and other conditions. This must be done between 11 weeks 2 days and 13 weeks 6 days. The anatomy scan happens around 18 to 20 weeks to check if your baby is growing as expected or look out for any problems. This is also the scan that can tell you what your baby's gender is if you choose to ask. On the other hand, growth scans mostly happen in the 3rd trimester if your midwife or doctor is concerned about your baby's growth. Folic acid, iodine, vitamin D, and immunization. A healthy diet is important during pregnancy, but you can't always get what you and your baby need from food. So for now, we'll talk about folic acid, iodine, and vitamin D. Folic acid helps the body to make new cells. Folic acid is important because it can help prevent birth defects of baby's brain and spine, like spina bifida. Spina bifida can cause walking, bladder, and bowel problems. In my experience, I took folic acid up to the 12th week of my pregnancy. On the other hand, iodine helps the body to grow and develop, especially the brain. Because babies get iodine from their mothers, pregnant and breastfeeding women need more iodine. During pregnancy and while breastfeeding, Choose foods that are high in iodine. Foods that are high in iodine are well-cooked seafood, milk, eggs, some cereals, and bread. During my pregnancy, I also took iodine tablets. Next is vitamin D. Vitamin D is needed for strong bones and joints as well as healthy muscle and nerve activity. If you don't have enough vitamin D during pregnancy, your baby may be born with low vitamin D levels and this can affect how your baby develops. The sun is the main source of vitamin D. Small amounts can also be found in foods such as oily fish, your tuna, salmon, sardines, egg, and some margarines, milk, and yogurt. Some time in the sun is also recommended so that your body can make vitamin D. Try to get outside before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. between September and April or around midday between May and August. The lighter your skin is, the less time you need to be in the sun to make enough vitamin D. So don't get sunburnt. And just for your reference, I also received immunization against whooping cough and influenza during my pregnancy. Eating well and doing moderate physical activity. Now, nutrition and activity during pregnancy is a very big topic, so I will not bore you with all the little details. For now, I will just recommend this very handy booklet and this pull-out guide to food safety in pregnancy. Make sure to check the links below so that you'll know how to download the PDF copy. If you want more practical tips about pregnancy, nutrition, activity, managing pregnancy symptoms, then please do let me know in the comment section below or like this video. If this video gets 30 likes, then sure, I'll make another video focusing on just that. Next! Work and financial planning. Babies are expensive. Most households ends up spending more than what they earn once the baby arrives, especially when one parent has to take time off from paid employment in order to raise the child or the children. So for this part, we'll talk about parental leave, what you will and you won't have to pay for during pregnancy and once the baby arrives, and how to budget. If you or your partner are having a baby, you might be entitled to parental leave. If you are entitled to parental leave and you give the right notice, it means your employer must keep your job open for you unless your job is defined as a key position or there's a redundancy situation. Your leave entitlement may also vary depending on how long you've worked for that particular employer. If you're entitled to government-funded parental leave payments, you can choose to use other types of paid parental leave you're entitled to before you start your parental leave. You can choose to use annual leave, time in lieu, special leave, or alternative days. Primary carer leave can start up to 6 weeks before the expected date of the child's arrival, or earlier if your employer agrees, your doctor or midwife says you need to, and it gets too hard for you to do your job safely while pregnant and there's no other suitable work available. Parental leave can be taken by just one partner, or if you're both eligible, then you can split it with your partner. Fathers or partners are also entitled to 1 week of unpaid leave if you work for your employer for at least an average of 10 hours a week for 6 months, or 2 weeks of unpaid leave if you work for your employer for at least an average of 10 hours a week for 12 months. You can take this leave 21 days before the baby's due date or the date your partner intends to become the primary carer, and after 21 days. If you're pregnant, you're also entitled to take 10 days of unpaid special leave for things like doctor's appointments and antenatal classes before you go on parental leave. Paid parental leave aims to reduce the financial stress of working families with newborns and young children. Any eligible working parent can get the government-funded parental leave payments if they are the permanent primary carer. Currently, eligible employees are entitled to 26 weeks of paid parental leave. This leave is paid by the government through inland revenue, not by your employer, and weekly payments range from $177 to $586 per week. There are different entitlements available to parents depending on how long you've been employed or self-employed. When I applied for paid parental leave, the payments were only up to 22 weeks and the weekly payments $564.38. As a DHB employee working on a 0.8 FTE, my employer also paid the difference between what I was getting from IRD and what I would normally earn for up to 14 weeks. And I received this as a lump sum payment. For your reference, I was on maternity leave for 52 weeks. During that time, I received paid parental leave for 22 weeks, and then for the remaining 30 weeks, I was living off our savings. You need to let your employer know at least 21 days before the end of your parental leave whether or not you're going to return to work. If you're not sure about going back to work, you could talk to your employer about the possibility of reducing your hours or a flexible work arrangement like job sharing. For the specific guide for publicly health-funded services, please go to this website. As a New Zealand citizen, I didn't have to pay for the services provided by the lead maternity care or my midwife. The cost of giving birth in the hospital was also covered, so I didn't have to worry about that. Please note there may be charges for antenatal or childbirth education classes, some tests at private laboratories, and ultrasound scans. In my experience, I didn't have to pay for the antenatal classes and blood tests. However, I had to pay for the ultrasound scans. From memory, I think it was $20 to $40 per scan. Obviously, how much you spend on a baby depends on how much you can afford to spend, but here are some rough estimates from BNZ. On a medium budget spend, parents will need around $304 a week to raise a child. That's $15,834 per year. On a high spend budget, that goes up to $405 a week. Food and nutrition supplies, breastfeeding gear, bibs, solid food from when your baby is 6 months old, and utensils cost around $1,470 per year on average. Nappies, baby wipes, and creams cost an average of $1,750 per year. Childcare is by far the biggest cost at an average cost of $8,750 per year. Bedtime supplies are expensive with an average of $1,285 for a cot, mattress, mattress protector, sheets, baby monitor, and a portable cot. The average annual spend on a car seat, stroller, and carry pack is around $650 per year. For children aged between 1 to 3, BNZ estimate that parents spend about $391 per week as the cost of all categories increases a lot. If you are planning a baby, there is a lot to consider. Will you need to move to a different house to accommodate your growing family? Will you need to buy a family-friendly, reliable car that's easy to get a car seat? And undoubtedly, the biggest cost of having a baby comes with a loss of income as one parent takes time off. And add in cost for the things that your baby needs, and money can end up being tight. So it's really good if you can save some time to review your finances, look at what your income will likely be, if your partner will take time off, and what the expenses will be once your baby arrives. Remember to also budget for the extra cost, like, being at home for the day or being awake at night. Things like electricity bill may increase, you may want to have more heating for the baby. And you may be doing more washing, so your water usage will also increase. I hope you found this video helpful. If you reached the end of this video without skipping, wow! Ikaw na! Please leave a wink emoji in the comment section below so I'll know who you are. As always, I wish you all the best with your journey and I hope you will be blessed. I'll see you soon. Bye!